Welcome back to Squawk on the Street. JP Morgan is the latest company reportedly bringing workers back to the office 5 days a week. Of course, that push to get workers back to the office in 2025 could be a tailwind for commercial real estate, especially right here in New York City. Scott Rechler is RXR chairman and CEO. He's got a lot more on the state of the commercial real estate market. In this new year, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
You know, when I've talked to you in years past, whether it was 2024 or 2023, you certainly didn't sound that positive, kind of waiting for the storm to come, so to speak, the banks to deal with the decline in value of so many of these loans. Where do things stand now?
So, you know, I think it's interesting. Really what has happened is I think the Federal Reserve, by using their rhetoric, was able to keep the markets loose, right? The stock market's up, the bond markets were open, and the regulators sort of gave some room. So this storm sort of hovered around the coast, but never actually came onto the coast. And then during that period of time, you saw the big banks, they were taking reserves, people were capitulating on values, people were estimating where interest rates are. And so I think 24 is the floor right now. I think 24, we're at this floor where we're now going to be in a position to start dealing with these things, but it's not going to be as distressed as it was because the capital formation has happened. You know, I think an acknowledgement of valuations and the reserves are in place. So it will start taking place. We'll see transaction activity take place.
We will, but we're also so extend and pretend is sort of we're at the end of that.
I think people who waited in 24 hoping that interest rates are going to go low and save them are going to have a really hard time surviving in 25. For those that recognize that, okay, there's this moment of reprieve, let's use 24 to be strategic. Let's go negotiate with lenders, reduce your basis, be opportunistic, position yourself. You can thrive in 25 because rates are higher for longer. So even though we have, I think, better fundamentals in terms of tailwinds in the economy and just talking about the office market, much stronger, we still have a challenge of all these loans, $2.3 trillion of loans that have to be refinanced, the bulk of that over the next 3 years. At rates that are going to be much higher than where they were originally set.
Well, you started a distress fund, I think it was last year.
Last year, yeah.
Have you done anything from it?
So we've this year invested in 9.5 million square feet of Class A office space. And we started by buying institutional owners' interest who just really didn't want to be anywhere near. Office was toxic. We were buying it at discounted prices and going to the banks, renegotiating and bringing down the basis. So the concept is buy great buildings with broken capital structures, fix the capital structures, and then places like New York, you get them leased. More recently, you know, we've been working with institutions that say, okay, I am now getting more constructive on office. I see the demand out there. I don't want to abandon it. So even this week, we're planning on closing another 2 million square foot acquisition where we're going to buy a 49% interest in a Class A trophy building with an institution that says, okay, I want to stay in for 51%, but I want to hedge my bet, bring in someone that's going to bring fresh capital to ensure I'm not putting good money after bad.
Right.
And the capability to be able to do the capital projects, the leasing, refinancing that needs to get done.
On office, have cities been smart about conversions to the degree that's soaking up some of that inventory?
Yeah, and we've talked about this in the past. In New York in particular, I think, you know, it has been smart because we knew it was going to happen. And we thought that if you got the right policies in place, it would actually accelerate that. And they did put in policies, the state did, and then the city did with the City of Yes housing program. And so what you've seen is a dramatic increase of buildings that actually qualify for conversion. So there's, you know, about 12 million square feet of conversions going on in New York City right now, and not just in Lower Manhattan, but we're working one on Times Square. We're working some in Midtown right now because the math works because of these tax abatements that you're being able to generate.
Although there are some